Ivan, we decided to take a movie of this thing to show the discrepancies. These rims here, they're cracked, and this was a show tractor, but the rim is a different color than the tractor itself. So when we sit down and we look at it, we have a tire here that's dry rotted. It's a 6.230. The opposing tire on the right side is a 7.230. Okay. Now, if we look at the housings, look right here, Sean. See that bolt right there? Okay. You see it well? This housing came off the tractor. Okay. And if we come over to this side, the opposing side, we can see if I can get a little bit extra right here. You can see the wrench marks where this housing has come off of the tractor. Okay, and these are very recent. See how clean the bolts are, right? So someone had this housing off. Now, if we come over here and we look at the brakes on this thing, which I told you it didn't have any brakes, watch the pedal. You know, there's not any brake on this tractor. So the linings either have an issue, either they're worn out or have oil on it, or both. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to the back of the tractor. We see right here that the tractor was shipped without a cap on the air cleaner. Number one. Number two, the coil on this unit is cracked. Okay. All right. And I don't know. Let's go to the carburetor, Sean. I don't really know what the issue here is. See if you can get a look at that. With this carburetor, I can tell you that the lever, the mechanism on the valve itself, and there's something wrong with the carburetor, because when you start it, you can hear it sucking. And as I told you, once we unloaded this tractor, we probably drove it for less than 3.5 minutes while we drove it to the back of the shop and tried to get it inside. Okay. Now, if we look at the cultivator, we have the left side and a plow on it. I'd like you to take note of these clamps. These clamps were produced recently. They were heated with a torch. That's a grade 2 all thread. That thing is stronger than nothing. Okay. And besides, it's not original equipment, and you got top price for the tractor because you told me it was a very good tractor and it was in good shape. We come over and we find that the right hand side of it was missing, and it obviously has fallen off in transit. We discussed this with the transport driver out front. Okay. The other thing is that when we come up to the front, what we find are some of the same things that we had on the other side. Now I'll move that tire so we can see this on the other side. If we look closely, we can see you've got the same makeshift grade 2 formed U-bolts, and these things aren't any good. They have no strength at all. Okay. Now, so it looks like, in summary here, that if we look at all the rims on this tractor, just shot there, all the rims are cracked. Okay. And the other is that if you look at this rim versus the rest of the tractor, let me see if I can move this. Okay. You told me this was a show tractor, and let's get a contrast of the two paints here. Okay. This is obviously off of something that's been recently painted, perhaps a show tractor, and then here's the other, which is like a tractor that came out of a field. Okay. So we need the following. We need to have the clamps remedied. We need to have the brakes fixed, the air cleaner parts supplied. We either need a new carburetor or a rebuild kit, and I need to understand what I'm doing before I get in there and tear it apart. We need the 6.2 tire, which is dry rotted, replaced with tube. to match the other side, which is 7.230. We'd like to have the cultivator clamps brought up to what this tractor used, not some makeshift bent up part that we have. And the other is that we need the parts off of the rear cultivator because they fell off in transit. A note I'll make at this time is that none of the bolts, as far as the wheels, the tires, or anything, were anywhere close to what you would believe any torque spec is, because most of them were just a little past finger tight, which I find amazing. Okay, now right here. Now the issue I have is that if I look at all the brakes and the clutch, I find new washers and new cotter pins. And you said the rear housings had not come off. Okay, and you know, I find on the right hand brake those weren't off, but the ones on the left side, the brake and the clutch, those actuating levers have been moved and replaced. So I'm a little at odds on if this was a show tractor why we're having such problems with it mechanically. Okay, all right. I guess that's about it. I guess we're going to put this thing on YouTube, and so you can see it, and we'll go through this way. Number 1 is tires, number 2 is air cleaner, number 3 is brakes, carburetor is number 4, cultivator clamps are number 5, and rear cultivator, parts that fell off during shipment because the bolts weren't tight, would be number 6. Okay? We'll put this on as quickly as we can get it on the machine. Thanks very much.